women. My name is Zita Iwuoha, and I am here again to talk to us and share about what the world of women is all about. I just want to do a recap of our inaugural event sharing that happened last week, Tuesday, where I was able to hopefully respond to the people that asked, what was the Word of Women about? And I did that by actually sharing my life story. I helped people to understand a little bit about me, the circumstances that surrounded my birth, and how my mom struggled all the way between when she was pregnant, 7 months old with me, and was beaten by a dog. And all that happened, how she got treatment and the distance she had to travel. And even after I was born, as you can see that photo here, how she again had to take me at her back to a hospital to make sure that I got the treatment I needed for bronchitis. And I did share that, and other women in the platform also generously shared their own story, which was really, really interesting and amazing. And we all ended up enriching one another with our stories, and didn't even have enough time to, share what we wanted to share. And like I said, that whole story continues. And even today, that's what we're gonna talk about, is continue to share our story however we feel comfortable doing that. And so I am looking at today's episode. I would like to share and before actually, today's episode, before I get into that, I just want to share a few things. One is just for us to know that as I shared my mom's experience, my experience also with her, I just want all of us to know that not every one of us has that, whether it's the opportunity or has the same experience. Some of us were really, and we know that motherhood is not everyone's calling. So that people don't feel, oh, you got to be a mother, or as a mother, this happened or didn't happen. Because we also know that in our society today, there are people who were adopted. So they were raised by another family or parent that weren't really their own biological parent. And that whole role was assumed by that family. So that, again, is part of the motherhood we're talking about. There are people who are like living like two females or two males raising a baby or a child. That also, they can fulfill that same role. Grandparents, as we know with our society and jobs and stuff, a lot of grandparents now assume that motherhood role in raising their grandkids. And let's talk about death. When unfortunately a mom passes away and leaves her child behind, or the baby, is either family takes it or adopted or someone else assumes that motherhood role. So I just want all of us to know, and even those of us who are raised by our own mom, it mightn't really, they might not even really represent that motherhood role that we're talking about. But I just want all of us to recognize that there are differences, that my story doesn't really mean that that's everyone's story, but it was my own story. So I just want all of us to know that. And The other thing I wanted us to look into today, as Denise started last week, Denise was able to share, the two female role models in her life. And I wanted us to do that today. And I want to start by sharing. I already shared about my mom and the leadership role model she played in my life. That whole thing of resiliency, courage, love, sacrifice, an in-depth sacrifice, giving life, and even sacrificing your own life to bring another life and to raise your children. So that whole thing of courage, that whole thing of exemplary life, she helped me to understand the essence. And even though I am a consecrated woman, I don't have kids, never married. So, but here I am, trying to, in my own way, be a mother to mothers. And in a way, fulfilling that role, but on a different level. So another role model that I have in my life was a woman. She was a midwife in my little village. This lady, her name is Ihoma. We call her Neni Ihoma. She was a grandma, the way I knew her. She was a grandmother. And everyone in my village, when I was growing up, really recognized her as a woman of a sacred woman. Put it that way, sacred woman, in the sense that she was a midwife. Not only that she was a midwife, I would also see her as a native a midwife doctor, because she didn't get the opportunity to have Western education, but I would say that her natural wisdom was astronomical, because I never saw a woman that would go into the bush. She would get some leaves and herbs and stuff like that, get it ready, give to a pregnant woman in labor to really enhance the labor process. And she was also taking care of women prenatally. And she was able to examine them. She wasn't using anything like stethoscope or whatever. No, she never used any of that. She used her fingers, both delivery, both examination, doing everything she did. But what really intrigued me about Mama Ihoma is she was really like a man. I never knew her as someone who was married, but they say she got married, she had kids. Her husband died early. So she literally raised her 4 kids by herself. When she was actually servicing, going miles, walking miles to go to attend to pregnant women, labor, and delivery, she wasn't paid much. Actually, what people were doing at that time was like trade by barter, where they would give you either a chicken or give you something, salt or oil or rice. So for the service you provided. So this lady, I knew her from when I was like 8 years old, and I used to go to her house secretly to watch her deliver babies. And I was so thrilled how this lady carries out her work. I wasn't really watching her to really be like her, but it fascinated me how she carried out that whole act. I'm like, oh my goodness, this lady is awesome. And then when every woman delivers, she will sing, she would dance. That was her way of letting people know that a new child has been given to the world. And then other people will come in and sing, and they dance, and they applaud the woman, and they do all kinds of stuff. letting the rest of us hear and know, and we all get powder and, pour it on our skin and all that in celebration for the new life. And she was never related to some of these women, but what she did for one woman, she did for the other woman. She never discriminated. And I kept wondering, how come this lady is able to actually attend to every single person the same? And I know that some of the women that had their babies in her place didn't even come with anything, no wrapper, nothing. And she will always go to her little hut. She will bring some clothes, I don't know where she got them, to really wrap each baby. And if they are like twins, she will still find a way to get something for the twins and their mom. And the way she will really take care of the women postnatally really touched me. I'm like, wow, what a way to care for somebody that you don't know. Now, I don't know how she got her training to be a midwife, but I know that in those days, they said people will always get their training, hence, like it will be tradition. So you just watch. Maybe she got all those skills from watching her own mom or her grandmother, but we never had that conversation. I never really cared to know how she learned the skills that she used for women. But from that little childhood experience I had from her, she was still effective for like 30 years before she declined and passed away. This lady was not somebody that you would say, oh yeah, she had that she was rich. She was never rich. But I saw her as a rich, wealthy woman that had abundance in her life. And why do I say that? Just because of the spirit of generosity she had to take care of women, to take care of their children, their babies, and even for those of them that were not catered for by their husbands or their partners, this lady was there for them. And for me, she was a role model, somebody that shows that love, not only for the woman, but for her children, for her babies, and for her family. And whenever I listened to her talk to the families, she was always gentle, but so firm. She would look at the guy and say, I am going to help you this time, but please, if your wife is going to come back here to my house, because of course she knew that in the next 18 months, they're going to come back. She would say, but if she's going to come back to my little hut, make sure that you are providing her with the things she needs. Please don't try me. She always says that in a gentle but in a firm way. I really admired her. She never turned anybody away because they didn't have money or didn't have all the things that they needed to have. She accepted any kind of offer that was given, not monetarily, but trade by barter, like I mentioned earlier. They give her soap, they give her oil, they give her salt, whatever they give her, chicken. Some will give goat, showing gratitude for the work she did for them. So, and now in the local village, people saw her also as that figure that represented what a woman should be. And she took care of her grandkids, even when she was really sick and dying, actually. Her grandkids were around her. And she lived to be 90. So this woman was somebody that gave her life, gave all she had to make sure that the world of women would be a reputable one, would be a world that would be admired, a world that continues to nurture and to bring love. And that's what I know we women represent. So I am glad you're listening to me, and I am really inviting us to feel comfortable, feel and share at your comfort level someone in your life that is a role model. And the more we share about these women, the more we even recognize our own roles in this world as women, as mothers, as life givers, as life nurturers. So thank you for listening to me. And I invite each one of us to share as you feel comfortable. And quickly, before we do that, I would like to invite Emily, please, can you put out the contact information for those of you who have asked me the information to follow up on this Wow for Women program. We're going to put out that information. If you have any questions, comments, you want to reach out to me, I am available in the information that Emily is going to share with us. So please feel free to contact me with any kind of queries you have and comments you have. Thank you.
Hi, Lisa. I love this. I think it's so important. So next year I want to contact you to see how I can collaborate with you and a few other organisations to make it this much bigger, because I think it's really, really important that women get empowered. And I don't want Denise, I don't like the word disability. I want it to be enable all of us to be enabled. So I would like to use the word enabled. I don't like the word disability because I think that represents us, who we are as women, and I want to enable other women to be empowered. So I like the word enable because I think we can enable people through education, through compassion, through love, through joy, through sharing your experience, through sharing your joy, what you stand for, your passion, your commitment to make the world a better place, and also that you're so passionate about having allies, male allies. I think it's really passionate.
Thank you so much, Maria.
Did Denise, it go off? Emily, did Denise drop off?
Say that again, sorry.
I think Denise dropped off.
Denise?
Is Denise not on the chat?
I think Denise I saw her, but I'm not sure if she got disconnected or something. She was on the call, but maybe she will come back. Yeah, but what you said is noted, and you're absolutely right. We need to really enable ourselves and not disable, and that word is not really it's not exciting, but I rather go by your suggestion, enable each other and complement each other is what I would say. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. I feel like when you put the label of disability, I feel that we are kind of like devaluing ourselves. Does that sound weird? Devaluing what we do and who we can be. And I've just been recently finding that. Emily?
There we go. Scared me for a second there, Zita.
Yeah.
Okay.
What happened to Denise? We lost Denise.
We lost Denise, it looks like. I don't know what's going on. But
I'm going to let somebody else talk.
I think Emily got it under control now. So yes, Emily.
Yes.
Okay. And Emily also got the contact information on our chart. So please remember to put in your information on the chart so we can contact you, and you can also contact us. Let's not forget.
Taste Studios, we do a podcast ourselves, so I can speak to the person that's running the podcast to see if we potentially could have you on as a guest on our podcast, and see what you're so passionate about is empowerment and telling stories of women globally, and I think it would be lovely if we could put you on the podcast for Taste Studios in the future, and I think that would be pretty amazing. I think you'd fly.
Yeah, Maria, thank you for your suggestion. Was also gonna say after this sharing, one thing I wanted to roll out is our New Year plan for the podcast, the monthly different kinds of topics we want to talk about in the new year. I want us to start, inviting people to sign up, people with that kind of expertise, or people who love those topics and would like to educate the rest of us, or would like to share with the rest of us what they know, the talents they got on those topics. So just so we know that I will be mentioning that as we go on in this conversation and subsequent conversations we will be having, and that will be kicking off January 2022. So there's a lot that we can actually look forward to. And I encourage all of us to look at it. And the schedule is open right now. You can actually sign up for whatever you want to share with us. And we'll be really glad that you did that. So thank you, Maria. So is there any other person that would love to share their role model? Feel free to share. And I think at this point, Emily, if you can let the men in so that we can get their own perspective and keep it rolling.
They're coming back.
Okay,
back in a minute.
Thank you. All right. All right, so is everybody in now?
Looks like we have Kurt back.
Is everyone in now?
Still have a couple that aren't back yet, but
okay. And I see Marianne just joined us.
Aloha.
Aloha. So,
did we start?
Yeah, we did. Yes, yep. We've started, and what we were talking. Back. Oh, everyone is back.
Yep.
Great, thank you. Thanks, everyone. I was just inviting, shared my role model, and I'm sure the guys heard me. And I had invited anyone to share who their role model is, and also to, just let us share and listen, and feel free to jump in. Maria, you have a question?
No, I say Denise Vargas is a role model for our community, and I think Carter, Roscoe, and Emily as well, and Marianne, they're all role models for the ability community, and Zach is a role model for the veteran community. So we're all here, and you're a role model. So we all are role models here. So I think I just want to thank you for the service that you do, and every single one of us that, and especially Emily in the back who's not got a camera on, and I want us to put a camera on because I like to see her her lovely face. Emily, please put your camera on.
Thank you, Emily. Let's see you. Thank you, Maria, for that acknowledgement. And you know what? Sometimes we really look far to identify a role model, but the role models we see, they're with us every single day, and sometimes it's hard to really notice them. But I'm glad, Maria, that you noticed and that you verbalized it with us here to share with us. And I think it's something really commendable. It is also something that I would say is a challenge. We need to challenge ourselves and look at who we interact with every day and see what we can emulate them for, because we are all endowed with great qualities. Sometimes we don't even see that. So I'm so glad that you mentioned that. So yes, thank you. Anyone else?
Boys, Zach, great.
Yeah, I'd like to, I would say that when it comes to it, I think that working moms throughout the world, I think they're role models. I mean, let me try this again. Role models. Thank golly, I talk for a living. But they show you that they give you that knowledge that you can do anything and keep going. I know a lot of moms that are out there that are dealing with multiple kids, school, and work, and they're doing it alone, and I think it's amazing. And I love being able to be there and help them whenever we can as a company, but I like to be there as an individual, just when they need someone to talk to. And I think that that's fantastic. I think that they show a lot of strength, they show a lot of courage, and I don't think they get a lot of recognition a lot of times. And even homemakers themselves they do so much for the community and for their kids. So when it comes to it, I don't think that there's a single female on earth that isn't a role model in some way, because as generations go in the past, women have been neglected a lot of times in a lot of cultures, and I think it's fantastic, the work that everyone's doing.
Thank you so much, Zach. I really agree with you 100%. When you talk about multitasking for women, we take that literally, and people take it for granted. I was just having a conversation. I had a conversation 2 weeks ago with one of the guys from Africa. And this guy is really, really highly educated. And I did ask him, I said, what does your wife do? He said, she doesn't really do anything right now. I said, really? He said, yes. I said, okay. So I intentionally asked him the question. So 15 minutes into our conversation, he said to me, so now what is this world of women you're talking about? What is it about? So I said to him, when you think of women and what they do and how they juggle activities, so I mentioned like they take care of family, they clean, they cook, they get kids ready for school, they farm, they teach, they are nurses, they are pediatricians, that you name it, they are. So he said to me, what you just said now, that's all my wife does. I said, okay, 15 minutes ago, you told me she doesn't do anything. Now you see what she does. And he couldn't hold himself. He really had a good laugh. I said, you see, we all take this for granted. And a lot of women these days raising kids, and it scares me, honestly, are for like 75%, and this is from research, they're single moms. And really, it scares me because yes, we multitask, but usually families are supposed to be raised. It's a communal thing. It's not something one person does. Now we find out that a lot of women are taking that role on top of everything else that they have to do. And it's not easy. It's weighing down on women. And what I see in the medical field is a lot of women coming down with mental health issues, depression. And we really wonder, oh, why is that happening? Why can that happen? When a woman takes on a role that a whole community can't even handle. So I'm glad you mentioned that. Thank you so much. And I hope other men are listening and the rest of us are listening too.
Hey, on something you just said, do you mind if I give a little bit of recognition to one of my newest partners?
Yeah.
Her name is Leslie Bradshaw. She's a female coach. She's a very, very young woman who culturally, her parents tried to dissuade her from doing what she wanted to do. And so she had to and she learned a way to put other people's suggestions kind of in the background and bring herself to the forefront, live her dream. And now she's teaching other women to do this. And I think it's a wonderful, wonderful thing. And she's one of our newest partner family fundraisers. And I think that what she's doing, and I think it's a fantastic program. She's in Trinidad right now, and I was so excited to meet her. And, like I said, she's just inspiring because all she wants to do is teach women how to find their inner strength and lift themselves up. And you know what? If somebody's getting in your way, kind of put up your hands and you say, stop. You know what? I'll bring you back into my life when you accept me. Until then, this is my life. This is my happiness we're talking about. I'm not going to be miserable because you don't accept it. And I think it's wonderful.
Yeah, it's our human right. I mean, we should not, it is our human right. And it's high time women really take up that role to reclaim who they are, reclaim what the God-given talents and skills that they have, and not allow people to take them for granted. No woman should be taken for granted, because all that does is to destroy who we are as women. And once anybody is destroyed, then you're not able to accomplish your life purpose in this world. So yes, I'm glad, and we would really like to have her speak on one of our programs that we're planning for the new year, because those are the kind of young women and the rest of the women that we would like to come talk to us, educate us on the importance of world of women. Thank you. Anyone else want to share? Please
I'll share a little bit. about from my life experience decades ago. My parents were pretty good to provide me as a child an intergenerational experience, having us around our elders quite a bit. And, I was always along. And so I guess I could say I've always appreciated my grandmother on my mother's side because of the role modeling she did in valuing the institution of family. And so basically when she passed away, us grandchildren and, our aunts and uncles and parents and whatever, we kind of had that realization how strong of a role she played in our lives, keeping our family together and putting love in our family, and just having the right conversations and just making it a thing that we stick together, we get together, even in terms of our holiday time. It was a thing that we had my mother's side and my dad's side, but there was something about my grandmother that things kind of gravitated to, the main event basically would be at my mother's side versus my dad's side and so forth. And so there's just something to be said about that, is a lot of time women are doing that, providing the basis of family and creating that emotional construct and that commitment, and creating, kind of those fond memories we have maybe later in life like this about the family stuff that went on, and our chance to follow that role and to keep the institution of family strong. So there you go.
Thank you so much. That's really a great perspective. Yes, thanks for sharing. Anyone else? Like I said, please remember to put your contact on the chart so we can have it. So anyone else? Unmute yourself. Is that Marianne?
And Marianne, I don't know if she's out there or she walked away. Marianne Ambrose, you're out there? Here, I'm gonna go ahead and mute her. I just muted her. It seems like she went away from her phone, and that's all background noise.
Oh, okay.
She did say earlier she was about ready to catch a flight, so she might be running through the airport right now.
Oh.
Okay.
So Emily, do you have anything from your life with the people that got you through the last few decades of your life and in family? Anybody jump out with you, Emily, about role models, people that have helped you do what you're doing today, that are women from your life?
A lot of it probably goes to my parents, and I'm sure there were a few people along the way, but yeah, as far as like women role models.
So you're saying your mom?
Yeah.
Your mom. So can you tell us more about that? Like, what do you think at this point in your life, and with what your mom did for you, Emily, in the past 10, 20 years, what is it about your mom that kind of is what you admire and that you either are following or try to follow or wish you could do kind of what she's doing, or just kind of in the general premise of, what's good for women be doing that she shows this? What is it about your mom?
I think kind of like the whole sort of like speaking up Yeah, I don't think our family together.
You're saying like over holiday time and whatever, the driving force to get you together with your siblings and like how things go, your mom is kind of the energy that pulls it all together.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Great. Thanks for sharing. Emmanuel has his hand up. Unmute yourself, please.
Right. All right. Thank you all. Thank you, Zita, and thank you all that's on this program. I've really listened to every one of us say something about the world of women. You know, just like I said last week, I'm a man who's surrounded by women. I've been in the middle of women. You know, my mom, my wife, my sisters, my daughters. So you see, my mom has always been a role model to me because not only that she's a woman, she has this resilience. She's so resilient and so focused, you know, and multitasked. You know, when you talk about when I look back in when we were growing up, see, not only that my mom never received the normal education, which wasn't as a result of her, you know, fault, but it was as a result of the culture then, where women were not recognized, where women were not encouraged to be educated because they had a mindset that when you train a woman, when she marries, that's the end of it, which was a very horrible, you know, culture. My mom still, you know, had that interest to ensure that my sisters were educated as much as they could. And then, you know, when I look back, just like Sita was saying, you know, my mom was more or less the pediatrician of the house. See, she knows how to give us the cold medications when you get yourself involved in minor cuts and injuries. You know, there are some leaves we use to get the liquids to, you know, put on. Some of you are not from Africa, we don't understand what I'm talking about. But we use it to get some greenish fluid that comes out from leaves to pour on wounds. So when it happens to us in the farm, that's what my mom would put on us just to arrest bleeding, you know. So when you get home, she help us to clean the wounds, give us the right food, give us a hot bath, you know, on top of a job of cooking for the house and taking care of all things. And most importantly, you know, she encouraged us to pursue any career of our choice. You see, she wasn't educated, but she had this natural intelligence in her that she knew that the best you could give to your child is education. And she made sure that we receive the education and get to the highest level. See, I'm a physician. I went to medical school in Nigeria. In the United States, you talk about, you know, you can be smart to go to medical college, but you have to get your, you know, get a loan, student loan. But in Africa, even if you're smart, if your parents can't pay through it, you're done, you're out. You're not going to go there. Nobody gives you a loan. So, see, I remember my mother. She was involved in some business. She was selling some tobacco, you know, and from the dust of the tobacco, she developed asthma, you know, which I knew was an occupational hazard. But in the midst of that, that was my early years in medical school. I looked at my mom going through asthma, you know, asthmatic attacks, and still telling me that whether she's alive or dead, that I'll finish my medical school. She was so tenacious. She was so, you know, committed that at the worst situations when I come home for money and if she doesn't have cash, she will go and take some of her property to as a something to deposit and get money for me. What a love, what a commitment, you know, you can only see in the life of a mother. So my mom, you know, taught us not only to love, you know, to show love, she taught us how to be disciplined, how to be focused. And in fact, she was more or less the financial hub of the family. What do I mean by that? She's the one that actually knows how to spend the money. My dad would say, go and meet your mom, because when the money comes to the family, it's given to my mom to hold, because my dad feels that my mom knows when to say, to give out the money. So, I mean, my mom is such a wonderful person and such a wonderful lady that, you know, when I look back, I say, thank God for my mom, because The way she raised us up, she was very strict. She's a typical lady that the Bible said, do not spare the rod and spoil the child. My mom would never spare the rod. She never did. She will so whoop you if you do the wrong thing, and at the same time, she's bringing you in to feed you and things. But she made it clear to us so that we know doing the wrong thing, there is a consequence right from young age. But above all, she's such a very loving, mom, hardworking. She had a good way for us and encouraged us to aspire to get to any level of academic or training that I wanted. And she was there to pay the fees. She was there to pay the fees. I was so happy that she was able to see me through medical school, live to it so that I began to practice. And she was able to at least enjoy the fruit of her labor. So I'm so glad, having my mom as my mom. If the world should come back again, I would still want to have her as a mother. She was such a wonderful role model for me. And I know that gave me a picture of how women in their nature, how tough and resilient and multitask women are. It's just gifted to them. But I know my mom was a woman who fulfilled her calling as a mom. And that's why she's been my role model. Thank you all so very much for listening.
Thank you so much, my brother, for sharing. Yes, what a wonderful gift we have in our mom. And we'll treasure her legacy forever. Thank you. Anyone else?
I would just like to say something, hearing Emmanuel talk about that, it just kind of made me think that, for over 30 years, my mom has been taking care of individuals with disabilities, with learning disabilities and a few mental issues and trying to become, she was a foster home for so many. And she was just recently forced to retire, which it's extremely hard on her. But that was something that takes a tremendous skill and tremendous heart, because it's a difficult thing. Taking care of your own children when they're suffering with some disabilities that maybe they have a little bit of problem coping with is hard enough. Taking care of a son like I was is hard enough, and I was quote unquote normal, but my mom was real. She was a real community hero, because for 27 years, she was giving out food boxes for people during the holiday seasons and all of this stuff. And she's taking it really hard this year because, this is the first year that we've been unable to do that. And like I said, she just recently was forced to retire, and you can tell that it was so hard on her, and she misses it so much. But yeah, I would like to just let her know that, she did a fantastic job, and she's a great lady, and she's trying to deal with this retirement thing, and it's hard to tell somebody that they need to retire when they're not ready.
I know. Tell her we're gonna, like Maria just said, we need people like her. I mean, it could mean that this whole situation is rerouting her to something more, more than herself. Honestly, I know that we all feel that COVID, this pandemic had really impacted a lot of us, most of us, almost everybody, honestly, globally, to a degree that we never imagined. But there's also something that we learn in situations like this. One thing I learned personally, is that this pandemic has brought us together, honestly, or forced us to focus inside to see what beauty we have as people, to really get close-knit relationship that we never really cared about because of all that was going on outside our world. But right now, it's like, come in. there's also something in here for you. So please, we would like your mom to, get in touch with us, because you just never know. COVID has taught us a lot, and I hope we're all learning from it. Thank you.
I will be more than happy to, I would be more than happy to share that message with her and find out if she'd like to join you sometime.
Thank you. I
And thank you
appreciate
very
it,
much for
Zach.
the offer.
Thank you, Zach. Thank you, Maria, also for initiating it.
Oh, not at all. In fact, without people, without your mother, she has done so much for the people. Her, her experience is invaluable for us to learn and grow, and to see how we can better serve the community, and how can we use what she learned as best practice. When you work in that environment, that's when you learn the best practice. And her, it doesn't matter that she's retired, she can come and help and support us, whatever. Because that is, I know it's hard right now that she's retired, but she's got, she has, it's more than welcome to come onto these platforms, talk to us, to say we value you and we appreciate your mum is raising an amazing child, and you have done to do so many beautiful things. That is part of your family, and she has brought that in you, and I'm so honoured to know you.
Thank you. It means a lot. It really does. So thank you.
It's truthful and it's my pleasure.
Hello, everyone.
Hi,
Doretta.
hi, Doretta.
Hi,
Nice.
Zita. Hi, everyone. I'm sorry joining in late. I had another meeting previously. The nurses organization I belong to, we have it every month, the second Tuesday. I forgot about that. But I'm here.
That's fine.
All
Nice
right.
to
You're
have you.
here.
Yeah, we were just talking about sharing about our role model, a female role model in our life. I don't know if you have anyone you can share with us. Don't feel under pressure, just, letting you know what we're talking about. So like I said earlier, my information is on the chat if you wanna really get hold of me with any comments, suggestions, questions, ideas. I will absolutely appreciate that. And I also mentioned that beginning next January 2022, we have rolled out a program where we have certain topics listed, like women in healthcare, women in spirituality, women in politics, women in policy, women in nature, environment, and so forth. So the whole 12 months, we have each month to celebrate a topic on women. And I'm looking for expertise in all those, each of those topics. We would like to have as many women as possible, sign up to come share with us. Like we just mentioned about Zach's mom, women that are women of substance, women who have really given a lot to the world. We need them to come share that with us. That's the only way we will really appreciate what they have done. We know that women are doing a lot around the world, but if we don't know about it, it's all taken for granted. And I'm not saying that we should sound our trumpet, but guess what? People need to know who you are and what you do, because you never know who that is going to help. That's the only way we can really enrich one another. So please, I will be sending that information out. and invite people to please sign up. So do we have anyone that wants to share before we round it up?
I would just like to say one last statement that I just shared a link with everybody. That is a page on our website that is, it's a page that's dedicated to the women-owned businesses that help us fundraise for people in the community. And I'm very, very proud to have to supply these wonderful women of professional business and ownership. Provide them their own, give them a little boost because of what they do. Ownership and business professionals, I think that they deserve it because they work just as hard as anybody else, and I support them fully. So, and I would like to also thank everybody for allowing me to join you guys today.
Thank you so much, Zach, for coming at a short notice. I appreciate it. And thank you everyone for coming. Special thanks to Kat and Emily for helping us put this together. I am so thrilled to always, share with people of like minds, and I know together we'll build a better world. We're already in the process of doing that, enriching one another, appreciating one another. So if nobody has, anything more.
What time is it there?
Sorry?
What time is it there? What time?
What time? It's 9 o'clock Eastern.
Right,
is that what you're asking?
Yeah, it's 9:02 Eastern. Yeah.
It's 2 o'clock in the morning here,
Wow.
here in Scotland.
Yeah,
in Scotland.
Oh my gosh, Maria, you are awesome.
No,
Maria. Maria, what a sacrifice. Oh my goodness. I really applaud you.
No, it's not a sacrifice. When you've got awesome people like yourself that are doing awesome work, it's not a sacrifice. Because I just wanted to say and put it out there, we have the Omicron variant here, and just guys, be really safe out there. The news that's coming out of the UK, Omicron, is we've had a first fatality of Omicron. So just be very, very careful. And if you can, then what we are hearing on the news is get your third booster as soon as you can. It's up to everyone to be boosted and be safe, but at least mask up. Make sure that you keep your distance and be safe.
Thank you so much, Maria, for sharing. And one thing also I have noticed that some people after the first podcast we had, a few people that are your time zone reached out to me and they were like, is there any time we can have scheduled podcast so they can participate? And I'm thinking about that. We just started this, and I'm hoping that in the future, we will find a convenient time that will really serve other parts of the world, because what we want is more people to, join us, share with us, and spread the good news. So thank you so much, Maria, and let your friends know that we're thinking about the time, and we're going to actually create a convenient time for people outside the United States.
Oh, that's not a problem. I'll get party people that like to be up at like pata time in the morning. So we'll have pata time as well with Edwin.
Okay, all right, sounds good. Thank you. All right, so thank you all for coming, and please for next week. I know it will be close to Christmas Day. And what I would like us to do is to get into that mood, be it a outfit, be it food, be it whatever. Please come prepared to share what Christmas is about for you, how you celebrate, how you don't celebrate. And I know this Christmas is going to be hard for a lot of families. I am very much aware of that. And we're going to also recognize that fact. But I also want us to know that the scripture says to us, in every situation we find ourselves, we have to thank God. We are not better than those who have gone before us. We are not better than those who caught COVID and didn't make it. And even those who are in the hospitals right now struggling for their life. We are not better than any of them. We are here just by the grace and mercy of God. And we thank God for that. And let's celebrate on behalf of our friends and families. So please come next week, prepare to celebrate. Thank you so much. You have something to add before
I would just like to say thank you. And Doretta, you mentioned that you were a nurse. I really, really, really want to say thank you so very much for all the hard work that everyone in the medical field has had to do over the last 2 years plus. Even beyond that, you guys do a fantastic, marvelous job. And I want to thank everyone who's in that field for all the hard work that you guys are doing right now, and all the fun stuff that you get to deal with, and taking time from your families and everything else. So thank you so much for all of our holiday workers. And please, everybody, remember that this is a tough time for people. And if you know somebody who needs help, make sure that they reach out for help. There are places out there to talk to them. Let's make sure that we take care of everybody who needs that help.
Absolutely. I can't. Doretta, thank you so much for what you do. That you're totally right. Without the nurses and emergency services, you guys out, army, everybody, you're doing it. Key workers, you're doing an outstanding job. So thank you so much.
You're quite welcome, and it's my honor to serve. It is my life serving as a nurse. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Merry Christmas. We'll see you next week, Tuesday. Have a good one. Bye.
Ciao, buonanotte. Sogni d'oro.
Buonanotte. Hasta mañana.